Today I wanted to start a new series on my channel. It's been kind of a long time coming, so of course we're going to go ahead and get started with Aries. Now, Venus and Aries people, they fall in love very, very quickly. They're super impulsive. They might, jump into relationships or partnerships very quickly and just like kind of without thinking, because they're definitely like follow your heart types of individuals rather than doing what they know is smart to do, or they hardly ever really follow their logic or past experiences, like um, to avoid like making the same mistakes again. And that's one thing that is definitely like a flaw for them, is because they just kind of follow their heart. They go for whatever it is that their heart wants at the moment, and they think that, this is going to be the love of my life. This is my forever true love. And then they get hurt, and then their heart is broken, and then like a day later, they move on to somebody else, and they have like the same mentality all over again. Like, this is my true love, like all over again. And then it just goes on over and over again. I would say that Venus in Aries is a very like innocent type of attitude in love, because of that mentality of just it's always like a new beginning. It's always like a new day to start loving again, no matter how many times they get hurt, no matter how many times like they keep repeating the same mistakes over and over again. With like Aries energy, it's like they don't really learn from their mistakes. They just, nothing stops them from touching the same stove top twice. Like, no matter how many times that they get burned, they see something new and exciting and shiny and brand new, and it's like they just want a taste of it, no matter what no matter what they know the consequence is gonna be. They really believe in the newness of relationships and the exciting spark that happens like right at the very beginning. And they kind of just, Venus and Aries lives for that. They keep allowing themselves to fall in love because of that feeling, because they just believe in the excitement of new beginnings like so much. And this is also something that can really make them look innocent and have like this really childlike, young, and fresh attitude about love and relationships that, really, that isn't very mature. And it's not, um, even as you get older, even as they get older, it's like they still have that same mentality, like this just young, childish mentality of like just wanting things to always be exciting in the relationship. Even like if you've been together for like 20 years, they're gonna need to have that feeling of just of how you felt when you first fell in love, basically. It would be a mistake to let things fall into routine and let things feel old, let things feel like they've just kind of settled in. Aries, Venus in Aries just will not be satisfied with that. It can be a tall order for partners who love a Venus in Aries, because it's like you're always gonna be with like this little kid. So it's like you can't always be available to them. You can't always give in to them. And yet at the same time, you can't like, they want to be able to control the relationship. They want to be able to get their way. But if you let them get their way in love, it's like that's kind of like the fast track to settling in. That's that's just a shortcut to making them feel too satisfied, and to making the relationship feel too predictable. And that's kind of like the last thing that you want to give to a Venus and Aries person, because they need the struggle and they need the conflict. Maybe they like drama. Maybe they just need the passion, whether that manifests as drama, like bad type of drama. There's like good and bad type of drama, though. Like Venus and Aries, they would feel like the drama and the conflict is needed to keep the passion alive. It's so important for the passion to remain alive in the relationship with a Venus and Aries, like no matter how many, especially if you've been together for like so long, they need to have that spark back again. and so they might instinctively or unknowingly like try to start something with you, like start fighting with you, or just make something happen. Like there needs to be some type of action that takes place within your relationships, like because the action is just what's gonna get things moving again. Like if you've been kind of like at a stale, dry area of your relationship and it needs to be like jump started again, they're gonna need to feel that. They're gonna need to take action. They're gonna need to get things moving again, no matter what that cost is or whatever means it takes to get that to happen. There's kind of this balance that you need to um, be able to handle when you're with the Venus in Aries, because it's like you can't seem too interested, but you can't be too distant. Like you can't be too interested because it's just kind of gonna be like giving them what they want, and Aries energy needs to have the challenge. They need to be able to feel like they have to fight for you, fight for your attention, and like it's like the more you stay cool and distant from them, the more they're gonna want you, because it's like, oh, they're playing hard to get, or they're they're putting up a fight. So it's like I need to fight for this prize. Um, and so you can't really appear too interested in them, but at the same time, you can't be too detached, because if they're not getting the right responses from you back, they're gonna take it as just you not being interested, and then they're just gonna move on to something else. So if you're interested in a Venus and Aries, it is a little bit scary. It's a little bit like you just have to find that balance between being interested and being cool, like being attached and being and showing interest. Venus and Aries just like they know what they want and they just go for it. Like if you are too disinterested or too cool or too dispassionate, they have like a million other crushes they could be pursuing at that very moment. So it's like they're not going to waste their time on you if you're just not showing interest. And so it's like that weird middle ground that you need to find between. It's like that's there's this sweet spot for Venus and Aries, like to get things going with them if you're like in that very beginning stages. So another thing about them is that they need their space. They're very independent and self-directed, self-motivated, and so they don't really need you. They're going to convince themselves that like, oh my god, love is everything and I can't live without love. I need a partner. I need somebody to fall in love with. And yeah, like there's always going to be somebody for Venus and Aries to fall in love with, because like I said, they fall in love super quickly and it's like they develop a new crush like every day. So it's not like they're super starved for love or anything. So even though they're saying all these things about like being super romantic and needing a partner and all that, it's like out of everybody, out of all the Venus signs, they need people the least. And they need a partner the least. Because they're just fine on their own, really. Like, they can be romantic, but it's sort of like this childish, immature type of romantic. For them, romance is about the pursuit. And it's about the fresh new feeling of love, of falling in love, of starting something new. And that would be classified as romantic technically, but it's a very Aries type of romantic. Basically, what I'm trying to say is that they're fine going solo and they don't really need you. They don't really need anybody, really. Even though they are romantic, they do fall in love very quickly, but in the long run, it's like what matters the most to them and what they value is independence and being true to themselves and being able to express themselves, being able to be themselves. It's very like self-oriented, and it's not really so much about the partner or about being with the partner. It's mostly a selfish thing, pretty much. To to put it very bluntly, um, this is why they say Venus in Aries is not the best position for Venus, because Aries is such a me sign. It's like a because Aries is just so focused on the self, and it's about their ego. Love for Venus and Aries isn't really about relationships, and it's not really about like people. It's not about the other person or the partner. It's about them and what they can get out of it. Love could kind of be handled by them as just like a way to express themselves. And really, love isn't really about expressing yourself, it's about giving to a partner and being there for them and being in a relationship, like being in a doing a one-on-one type of exchange, like back and forth exchange with somebody, like and Venus and Aries is just kind of going to be there to see what they can get out of it and to just have something new to conquer. They kind of approach love with this like sort of fighting warrior type of spirit about them, um, because Aries is that warrior sign. They're not lovers, they're fighters. And so they're kind of going to see love and relationships as like it's just another field that they want to conquer, basically. Like, so they might have this reputation of being players, of just kind of like doing the whole one night stand type of thing, and just being serial romantics. And love for them is almost like this competition that they're part of. It's like this competition that they want to win all the time. Like, if they see someone in the room that like everybody's trying to get at, um, they're kind of gonna see that as like a challenge. Like, oh, I bet I could get them to fall for me first before any of these other guys or any of these other girls. And yeah, that's something that's really exciting for them. They have like this love them and leave them sort of mentality in love. On the good side, on the good side, like if you were a Venus and Aries person and you got heartbroken recently, it's really easy for you to move on. It's like you're ready for the next adventure, pretty much. You're ready to start something new. Like I said, you're pretty much in love with the newness, the new feelings of a relationship. And so if one doesn't work out, it's like, let's just start all over with somebody new or with um, in a whole new phase of my life. And so they're very eager and quick to move on like that. You know, what's the point in like what's the point in like sticking around trying to beat a dead horse? If something just isn't working, they they accept it and they just kind of they just move on to the next thing, because there's always going to be a next thing for Aries energy. Not just Venus and Aries, but like I'm talking about in general. There's always something new, and there's always a new horizon to explore, a new world to explore, and a new opportunity to win, a new opportunity to like get back up, start fresh, start new. Like they're all about the new beginnings, and it's just very, very hopeful and very idealistic. So this is one good thing definitely about Venus and Aries. Like if you are one, it's easy for you to just um, leave something behind and start over again. There's always like a new hope and a new chance for a new beginning. That's kind of how you see love. If a Venus and Aries person likes you, they're definitely going to want to call the shots. They're going to try to get things initiated, get things started as quickly as possible, like kind of on their own time, in their own way. You know, if you're like on the receiving end of that, depending on like if you like that type of energy or if you're more of like a follower, more of like a person who doesn't really know what they want, I guess, you'll really like that. Venus and Aries will be the one to set things up and get things going. They're the leaders. And I also want to go over what the Venus signs value, because Venus isn't just about love, it's not just about romance, and it's also about like how you feel good about yourself and what you value in yourself and in other people, like what you can appreciate the most in them or just in the world, basically, whether that's through yourself or through other people or just or in art, beauty. You know, it's your appreciation and what you value. So a Venus and Aries person will value excitement, and they're gonna love being first. They're gonna love being the prize and winning the prize, or just um, coming first, getting their way, being in control, getting what they want. They appreciate speed and action, a lot of passion, intensity, boldness, you know, things or situations or people that are very just simple and straightforward, that get to the point, that aren't really too complicated, that don't require so much analysis and so much complexity. Like they need things to just be simple and straightforward and to just get to the point, basically. And they also really love challenges. So if you can give that to them, if you can pose a challenge for them and just bring lots and lots of passion and lots of heat and energy, motivation and drive and determination to your relationship, then they're really, really going to value that and really be attracted to that. That's something that they find beautiful. They find beauty in boldness, in standing out and speaking up and just being incredibly like self-motivated. If you show that to them, that's something that they really, really appreciate. And if and you know, being self-motivated in themselves and just following their own path of action and direction is something that they really highly value in themselves. So I think that's about it for Venus and Aries. Please let me know your thoughts and opinions and comments, and let me know what you think about this Venus sign placement if you have it or if you know somebody with it. And be sure to like and subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you again for another Venus sign video.